All right, last thing we need to talk about in this chapter. All we've done is solved linear multivariable systems, a bunch of different ways. We did it using row echelon and back substitution. We did it using Gauss-Jordan. We did it using matrices. And now we're going to use Cramer's rule. Okay, this is just another way to solve systems of equations. Again, on your test, you will be asked to solve specific ways. One will say solve using Cramer's rule. One will say solve using, matrices or Gaussian-Jordan, whatever. But so you have to do what it tells you to do. So make sure you guys understand what we're looking at. All right, when you solve using Cramer's rule, you're just using a whole bunch of different matrices. What I have written here, highlighted, says when you're solving for a variable, replace the variable column with your answer. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is find the determinant of the coefficients. Then you're going to find the determinant of the x, determinant of y, determinant of z, however many variables, and you're going to divide. It's super duper easy, I promise. All right, so you're going to first find your coefficient matrix, which is just the numbers in front of your variables. It's not your answers. And you find the determinant. Then you're going to find the determinant where you replace the x value with the answers. Then you're going to find the determinant when you replace the y values with the answers. And then we divide. So let me show you how this works, okay? Everybody see this first set of examples right here. Right here. I have 2x minus 5y equals 3. And negative 4x plus 3y equals 8. Now, you could solve using substitution, elimination, whatever, but here we're using Cramer's rule. So the first thing we're going to do is find the coefficient matrix. We're going to write it out. Do you guys see where we get 2, negative 4, negative 5, and 3 from? Yes? All right, so let's find the determinant for that. How do I find the determinant? It's major, 2 times 3. Good. So 2 times 3 minus what? Negative 5 times negative 4. 2 times 3 is? 6. Minus, what's negative 5 and negative 4? 20. What's 6 minus 20? Negative 14. Everybody agree with me? We okay? All right, so now if you're going to find the determinant for x, whatever letter you're quote-unquote looking for, since we're looking for the determinant of x, you replace the x column with the answers. Do you see that? So instead of 2 and negative 4, we put in 3 and 8. Everybody with me? Okay, so let's find the determinant here. What is 3? It's 3 times 3 minus what? 8 times negative 5 or negative 5 times 8. So what's 3 times 3? 9. What? Minus negative 40? Minus negative 40. Correct? So 9 plus 40, which is? You guys with me? All right, now we're going to find d sub y. We're finding the y determinant, meaning instead of the y coefficients, we're going to put in the answer. So we replace negative 5 and 3 with 3 and 8. Everybody good? So again, find the determinant. 2 times 8 minus 3 times negative 4, correct? 2 times 8 is 16. Minus the negative is plus. What's 16 plus 12? 28. So d sub y equals 28. So now you guys are like, okay, well, what good does that do? Well, this is how you find your answer. You take the determinant of each variable and divide it by the determinant of the coefficients. What was d sub x? So 49 divided by negative 14. And then d sub y was 28 divided by negative 14. What is 49 divided by negative 14? What is it? Say it again. 3.5. Okay. How would you like to write it? 7 over 2? Negative 7 over 2? Negative 3.5, however you want to. What's 28 divided by negative 14? Negative 2. And there is the solution to your system of equations. How do you know that you're right? We could go back and plug it in, right? All right, let's move along. How many determinants am I going to have to find here?
3.
I have to find 3. I have to find the coefficient determinant. That's my D. I have to find d sub x. and I have to find d sub y. So this is how I would expect you guys to show me your work. First thing I'm going to do is write out my coefficient matrix. So 4, 3, -2, -5. Agreed? So I find my determinant. I'm going to have 4 times -5 minus 3 times -2. What's 4 times -5? -20 minus, what's 3 times -2? -6. So I have -20 plus 6. Agreed? So my determinant is -14. Everybody okay with that? Okay. Check. Make sure I don't make a mistake. So now I'm going to find d sub x. So instead of my x coefficients, what do I plug in the x column for my matrix? The answer. So I'm going to put 10 and 11. And then for my y's, I have -2 and -5. Everybody see that? So find our determinant. 10 times -5 minus 11 times -2. 10 times -5 is -50 minus, what's 11 times -2? -22. So this becomes -50 plus 22, which gives me what? -28. Okay, so my d sub x is -28. And then how do I find y? Put the answers for y. So I'm going to put 4 and 3 because those are the coefficients of my x. And then I'm going to plug in the answers for my y, so 10 and 11. So I have 4 times 11 minus 3 times 10. What's 4 times 11? 44 minus 3 times 10 is 30. 44 minus 30 is 14. So d sub y is 14. Now what do I do? How do I find my answers? I divide each variable, d sub x, d sub y, by my determinant. I have d sub x, d sub y, and I'm dividing both by the determinant. So -28 over -14, comma, 14 over -14, correct? What's -28 divided by -14? 2. What's 14 divided by -14? -1. And what can I do with those answers? Plug it in. Now, if you guys wanted to solve this using elimination, substitution to check, you're more than welcome to. If you just plug it back in to check, you're more than welcome to. But on your test, when it says using Cramer's rule, you have to do this. Got me? There's 3 variables. Okay, big deal. You do the exact same thing. We know how to find determinants for all this. But what do you guys notice? There's some gaps, right? What do you think we plug in our matrix when there's a gap?
0.
A 0. So if you want to plug them in right now, that's fine. Perfectly fine. But we're going to have to find the determinant for the coefficients. We have to find the determinant for x, the determinant for y, and the determinant for z. We're going to do all 3. So let's do our coefficient matrix first. I'm going to plug in. My first column is going to be -1, 2, and 0, correct? What's my second column? 0, -1, 1. Good. What's the third column? 1, 1, -3. Now, how did we do this on Friday? What do I have to do? I have to recopy the first 2 columns. Good. It's a little different when we have 3. And then it's major minus minor, correct? Now, you guys will have your calculators. The numbers, I don't, on your web assign, they might get big, but it doesn't matter because you have a calculator. But just don't make silly mistakes. Make sure you're organized. Make sure you see what numbers you're multiplying. Make sure that you are taking your time. You don't miss a negative sign, something like that. But my majors, I have -1 times -1 times -3. Gives me what? -3. Then I have 0 times 1 times 0. 0. And then 1 times 2 times 1. plus 2, okay? Minus, let's do our minors. 0 times negative 1 times 1, 0. 1 times 1 times negative 1. Oops. And then negative 3 times 2 times 0. Yep. So simplify here. Negative 3 plus 0 plus 2 is what? Negative 1. Minus 0 minus 1 plus 0.
Wait, no, sorry, 1.
Right? So I have negative 1 plus a negative 1. All right. What did Mateo just say? Okay, say it again.
You don't have to go any further because anything divided by 0 is 0. So your answer is
If my whole determinant is 0, all right, think about this. Whatever your value is here, it's divided by 0. Whatever your value here is divided by 0. Whatever your value is divided by 0. Can you get a real answer if something is divided by 0? So what's your answer to this one? No solution. Good, Mateo. I was just about to say that. Now, will most of you freak out and think, I did something wrong? Probably, which is a good thing. That's a good reaction to have. So go back and check. Make sure you didn't miss a negative sign or something like that. If you get a no solution every once in a while, no big deal. If you get like 3 or 4 no solutions on your web assign or on your test or something, you probably did something wrong. So just make sure that you guys check, okay? Everybody all right? Okay, good job, good job. Good. All right, let's do this one. You guys see any gaps or any spaces? Yes, so I'm going to put a 0 right here. So again, we have 3 variables. We have to find our determinant. We have to find our determinant for x, our determinant for y, and our determinant for z. So my first determinant is just going to be my coefficient. So negative 1, 2, 3, 2, 0, negative 4, negative 3, 1, 4. What do I need to rewrite? Negative 1, 2, 3, and then 2, 0, negative 4. All right, remember it's major minus minor. Somebody has asked me before, what's the big difference? If it was major plus minor, would there be a big difference?
Yeah.
If it was plus here? No. But since it's a minus, it makes a huge difference. So make sure you guys are following the correct pattern, please. It's major, these 3. If you want to bring a color pencil, feel free to. What's negative 1 times 0 times 4? 0. What's 2 times 1 times 3? Plus 6. Negative 3 times 2. What kind of 6? Negative 6 times negative 4 is positive 24. Good. Now we have our minors. We like when there's zeros in there. What's 3 times 0 times negative 3? 0. Good. Negative 4 times 1 times negative 1?
4.
Plus 4. 4 times 2?
8.
Times 2?
16.
Good. So simplify. My first parenthesis is 24 plus 6 is 30. Minus, what's 0 plus 4 plus 16? 20. So what's 30 minus 20? 10. So your matrix, your coefficient matrix, the determinant is 10. So you're going to find d sub x, d sub y, d sub z, and divide everything by what number? 10. All right, so here we go. Let's find the x. How do I find x again? Substitute the answers in for the x column. So 1, 0, 2. This is d sub x. Then I have 2, 0, negative 4, negative 3, 1, 4. Did I get all my signs correct? All right, so recopy the first column. 1, 0, 2, 2, 0, negative 4. Major minus minor. You don't have to write that. I'm just reminding you. So my 3 majors. 1 times 0 times 4. 0. 2 times 1 times 2. 4. Negative 3 times 0 times negative 4.
0.
Yep. Then my minors. I have 2 times 3 times negative, sorry, 2 times 0 times negative 3. 0. Negative 4 times 1 minus 4. 4 times 0 times 2. 0. So I have 4 minus negative 4. What's 4 minus a negative 4? 4 plus 4, which is 8. Now, if I got 0 here as an answer, would that be okay? Yeah, because 0 divided by 10 would just give me 0. That's okay. 0 is an okay answer to have. All right, let's find our d sub y determinant. You can have fractional answers. That's all right, too. So d sub y, that means I use my x coefficients, which are negative 1, 2, and 3. Instead of my y's, my y coefficients, what do I put in? The answer is 1, 0, 2. And then I have my z's, which is 3, 1, 4. Is it negative? Yep, negative 3. Thank you. And then I recopy the first two columns. 1, 0, negative 1, 2, and 3. 1, 0, 2. And then I have my major minus minor. So let's identify here, here, and here. What's negative 1 times 0 times 4? 0, good. What's 1 times 3? Good. Negative 3 times 2? Negative 6 times 2? Negative 12, thank you. And now I have boom, boom, boom. 3 times 0 times negative 3? 0. 2 times 1 times negative 2? Negative 2. 4 times 2? Times 1? There you go. All right, so simplify left to right. What's 0 plus 3 minus 12? Negative 9 minus. What's 0 minus 2 plus 8? Positive 6. You guys agree with that? All right, so negative 9 minus 6 is negative 15. Good. So your d sub y is negative 15. Now we have to do this one more time and find d sub z. So I have negative 1, 2, 3, negative 1, 2, 3. Those are my x coefficients. My y's would be 2, 0, negative 4. Instead of my z coefficients, I use the answers. So I have 1, 0, 2. Then we're going to recopy the first two columns, negative 1, 2, and 3. 2, 0, negative 4. And then we're going to say major minus minor. So my majors would be, what's negative 1 times 0 times 2? 0. What's 2 times 0 times 3? 0. What's 1 times 2 times negative 4? Negative 8. Now I have my, what is 3 times 1 times 0? 0. What's negative 4 times 0 times negative 1? 0. What's 2 times 2 times 2? All right, so 0 plus 0 minus 8 is negative 8 minus, what's 0 plus 0 plus 8? 8. What's negative 8 minus 8? Negative 16. So my d sub z is negative 16. So we found all of these lovely numbers. What do we do with them? You're going to put everything over 10. This is going to be an ordered triple. So you have d sub x, d sub y, d sub z, all divided by your determinant. So I have 8 over 10, right? Is it negative or positive? Okay. Negative 15 over 10 and negative 16 over 10. Now, when you guys simplify, I do not mind if it's a terminating decimal. Terminating means when you plug in your calculator, you don't get 0.333333333333, right? Something that ends. So 8 divided by 10, you could either leave that as what? 4 over 5, or it does terminate. What's 4 divided by 5? 0.8. All right, negative 15 over 10. What does that simplify to? Negative 3 over 2, okay. And then negative 16 over 10. Negative what? 8 over 5. Now, the reason why Cramer's rule is helpful, all right, if you were to solve this system and used either matrices or our Gaussian, you would have had really ugly fractions to have to work with. So it just depends upon how you are comfortable working with things. Again, on your test, we're going to give you specific ways that we want you to solve because A, I know it's going to work nice and pretty, but B, to make sure you understand how to do it. But in future things, if it just says solve, you guys have a variety of ways that you can solve. Some ways are a little easier than others. Like this would have been the easiest method to solve that system of linear equations. Because if not, you would have had just gross fractions.